Hey, I just finished, I think, number 7 in pads. Did a little bit of live, about 20 minutes worth. Thought defense got a little better today. I'm not sure the offense took a lot of steps, but I think the defense got a pretty good grasp of what we got put in so far. So we'll go shorts tomorrow, and then we'll have a pretty big scrimmage Saturday. Maybe try to get about 100 plays or so in on Saturday.
So, Rich, the other day when you were in pads, you weren't real happy with their physicality, especially the lines. You said, I think that they were dancing a little bit too much. So are you seeing improvement, just defense
Not
today?
much today. I thought defensively we moved and were pretty active. Offensively, and part of it, we weren't coming off the ball. And part of the reason wasn't their fault. I don't know, we got quarterbacks for being vocal enough. I mean, I'm standing behind them. I could barely hear the cadence. And so when you don't come off the ball, when you're the way you're supposed to, it could be a multitude of things. And that's just one of it, is that we're not verbalizing our get off the ball time enough.
You're over a week into camp now officially. What have you learned during this point? What do you still need to learn about the team? How far along would you say you are in comparative to where you wanted to be?
Probably about where I thought we would be, which means we still got a long way to do. I wanted to do a little bit more scrimmaging today, but we're down to just a couple running backs practicing. That makes it hard. I even put slot receivers back there a little bit, so that has something to do with it. But we're still learning a lot of stuff. So that's why Saturday's got to be and we got to play a lot of football on Saturday. This Saturday coming up, because we got to get more evaluations done. But I'm not panicking. We still got 3 weeks? 3 weeks and 2 days. So we got time to get ready.
With 3 weeks, though, to kind of piggyback off that question, when is there a point for you that you would have to maybe start expediating things, or saying that if you don't get it now, then we just have to go to somebody else? Like, when do you get to that point? Because the season is coming up. You can't.
It's a good question. It's usually 2 weeks. I kind of give this, like the staff about 2 weeks before the first game. It's like, okay, who do we think we're at right now? And it could be all the way up until game week, but usually 2 weeks before the game, you should have an idea about who's ready to win with, who's not ready to win with, and then what do we do well, what don't we do well. And so that's a week and a half going before I kind of say, okay, this play going out, this play's going out, this guy's not going to be ready, this guy's going to be ready. And that, there are some guys that will emerge, after I kind of put that deadline. So I don't have to pick a starting unit until, what time's the game? I'm serious. There will probably be several guys that are up until 1:59 that we're not sure is going to be starting, which is a good thing if they're both good enough to win with. They'll both play.
But game plan wise, you have to know before that.
Game plan wise, we got to get down. You normally start at least a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, getting ready for your first game, your scheme wise, what you're going to put, all that. So we got a week and a half to not experiment, but to see what we can really do well. And that's actually every day now. Like, we're going out and I'm like, okay, what do we do well? What does this quarterback particularly do well? What does that So that's kind of daily thing now.
Rich, we talked to Gabe Franklin here after you, so brings me to safeties. Talk about some of those individually. I mean, you had a couple of them: Fred Perry, Derek Carter. Tell us what they bring, what you see with them, and any of the others you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty athletic group. They're not nearly as big and athletic as they were in the early 80s. It made me think of that, how big our DBs were, because we had I don't know if I'm off subject here, which I usually go. We had an alumni deal, and a couple of the DBs I played with here, like Steve Newberry, came around, and Steve's like 6'3" and a half. We weren't nearly as athletic as these guys, are as fast, but a whole lot bigger. Our guys nowadays are not quite as big, but boy, they're pretty athletic. And there's a whole bunch back there. Like I said, that whole secondary, I think you guys could help me. Is there any of them that I don't think any of them started for us last year, so they were young guys. There's a couple young guys that are back from last year, and then a whole bunch of transfers. So it's a pretty athletic group, and we do a lot with them too.
You hear good things about what Fred Perry did for you at Jack State.
Yeah.
What kind of player is he?
Oh, he's a physical guy, and he played a couple different positions for us. And all those guys, my expectations for all the guys from Jack State are probably a little higher because they've been both in the offense and the defense before, and they also have been in the practice routine. So I don't know what is there, 5 or 6 from Jack State, whatever their number is. Is there 8? Okay. Yeah. So those guys, the transitions should be easier. So I probably coaching them a little harder because they should know what to do.
Connected with Gabe Franklin.
How did I connect?
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know him beforehand. Zach knew him or knew somebody that knew him, and then I interviewed him. Really liked. You can see he's had production in the past. I really was impressed with him during his interview process, and then been impressed with him since then. I mean, he's a sharp guy, good recruiter. I think the players respect him. And I've said this before. I think the staff probably came together about as well as I could have hoped. Not just from a scheme standpoint, but who they are. I mean, I've got a lot of coaches. I got every couple at each position, but it's a really good staff, and there's a lot of young guys, but there's a couple of veterans as well, and I think it came together really well.
Rich, how do you format your scrimmages like you'll do Saturday? Do you just put time on the clock and let them go, or do you set up scenarios? Or
Yeah, I'll create scenarios from a field position standpoint. Backed up, midfield, gold zone, red zone. The down and distance stuff usually takes care of itself, and I'll intermix the groups. I might have, one group of offense and a different group of defense, and then switch it up. And then we do that during practice from a substitution. I'm almost like not as fast as a hockey shift, because you can't do it mid-play, but pretty close to it. I mean, it might just be for no reason whatsoever. It could just be 2nd and 7, and I'll be yelling and give me the second offense, third defense, whatever, So just keeping guys aware of it. And if it's a 4th down situation and we could either be punting or punt blocking it, everybody's got to be ready. So I told the guys I don't want any spectators in the program on the field. I mean, for you all or whoever, their family, whatever, watching, that's one thing. But our players and our staff need to be active participants, not spectators.
will that be in the stadium?
Saturday will be, yeah.
Is that the first time this came in the stadium?
Yeah.
So does that get the guys a little more juice?
I hope so. I think it's different when you play in, we got a beautiful stadium, and I think it creates a little bit of atmosphere. I hope it does anyway. And then I'll probably, I'm not I play music during stretch, and then we don't dance, but we play music during stretch, and then we play music in our break, 5-minute break. But then also when I try to distract them at the end of practice, I do it a couple of times. So we'll have and probably the end of practice, 2-minute drill or something that'll be live, and I'll play music or crowd noise or a combination of it.
Rich, going back to Gabe's resume, I guess, it's got a blank spot on there for a couple of years that he wasn't coaching, he was working education, I think, too. Were you curious about that? Like, how was he feeling his time and staying sharp as a coach?
No, I probably didn't get in depth as you did with that. I mean, maybe he was going out and making money. I wonder, what was he doing? Maybe you can tell me. I don't remember.
No, he was.
Was he working computers or something, or?
We'll find out, but he was. I think he was doing something in education. He's working on his second degree too. But it's just unusual for a guy to lapse a couple of years and to get back into it.
Coaching high school. Yeah, I don't. I could have asked, but I was more worried about how the hell can he coach. If he was like building houses or something, maybe I could ask him, hey, do you build a house? He can help Miss Rita put an addition on the house or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't know, so I wasn't concerned what he was doing. Obviously, I hired him. I think he's been a great addition. But yeah, and everybody's kind of got a story. I think nowadays it's like I don't want to say the profession has changed because coaching is coaching and all that. You know, guys getting paid more, and I think everything's more aware of it. But and I don't think, you know, I still think coaches, they put a lot of time in, they make a lot of sacrifices, and it's you gotta love what you're doing, not like it, like anything else. You guys probably, you love what you're doing, you love writing, you know that's. I hope everybody picks a vocation, not a job. Same way they're players. You know, find something you love to do and be good at, and then you'll never worry about going to work, right?
Talking about how Zach's scheme is pretty complex, so any surprise that the defense seemed to be ahead of the offense today?
Not really. And there was like, and I don't know if they were saying they were really ahead. I thought that they were more aggressive off the ball, and I don't think that's due, again, to our offense not knowing what to do. I think it was because they weren't anticipating the snap count. Like, there's not the intensity in individual that carries over to team, and that was my point with the big guys and the quarterbacks. I mean, you got to have a sense of urgency when you're playing, and it's real, and that's usually different when you go live, and I think that was the case today.
I was going to ask that you mentioned the offense didn't take a step today. What did they not do to not take a step besides just the cadence of the quarterbacks, just overall collectively?
We still had, and again, it's not just one guy. It's just one guy making a mental mistake on one play, another guy making a mental mistake on another play, and it's the same plays that we've been running for 4 or 5 days. To me, that's we've got to coach them better. They got to be a little better concentration on that. Like I told them, I said, we're all going to make mistakes every day. Let's not make the same one tomorrow we made today, because we're going to make some tomorrow, so we got to move on. And that's the frustrating part. If we're making the same mistake in 3 days that we made today, we did a crappy job coaching them.
Other than the urgency part with the quarterbacks, did you find anything out about it today?
Nah, you want to know the depth chart? No. All right, I'm going to tell you who's going to start here in 3, 2, 1. No, probably not. Even if y'all know that, even if I know.
Yeah.
Now, why the hell would I tell you? I mean, seriously, and I always think that I don't play a game with like, oh boy, this quarterback's going to do this, and they're going to prepare for that guy, and that ain't it. It's just like, I want people to buy a ticket and come to the game. I don't know if it's sold out. We sold 32,000 season tickets. It holds 60, so I don't know how many students are. That's not counting the students, right? So hell, you can still buy a season ticket, right? Boy, I tell you, I might just do an email, Raquel, and everybody buy a season ticket. They're going to know who the starting quarterback's going to be 1 hour before everybody else, 1 hour before kickoff. The rest of y'all got to wait till 2, is it time, 2 o'clock? Oh, Miss Reed is probably going, you are telling me, aren't you? She'll come to practice.
I'll preface by saying I'm not looking for any names or specifics, but with the running backs, you say there's only 2 practicing.
Yeah,
right
they're just
now.
banged up. Yeah, well, Jaheim practicing now. Jaheim and Hubbard, and then Andre Devine is a late addition off the waiver wire. Might be joining us. So, but he just had 2, Dior Hubbard and Jaheim. There's the 2 running backs that are probably because Clay Ash got banged up, and then Cannon got banged up, and who else was hurt? Who? Yeah, Knighton ain't eligible yet. We're on him. Ty Edwards is not eligible yet. So yeah, we're actively looking in the portal.
You mentioned Andre joining you, though.
Yeah, we hope.
At this point in early August, how much players on waiver, whoever else you're bringing on, how much can a player who joins you now be ready to go for you?
The guys that we would add in now, and there's obviously not going to be many, but there might be 1 or 2 running backs or whatever. I mean, you're going to kind of force feed them a little bit what they can and can't do, and kind of go from there. But I think it's not really that complicated what we do. It's just at a different pace or tempo. So, typically you get in a huddle and they tell a play, and you got 10 guys that tell you what to do. And then for us, it's no huddle, faster. So that kind of makes it a little harder for them to catch on, but they can do it.
Rich, you mentioned quarterback communication. How's the offensive line doing in that regard? You know, whoever it is making the calls and kind of gelling together.
Yeah, I'm all for it. You know, I think we're getting some of it, but not to the, I guess the level of intensity. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm trying to create a kind of game type of intensity that they practice at, and that's a work in progress.
Rich Knight hasn't practiced yet. Not eligible?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're still.
Rich, you mentioned quite often in your career tempo. Are you playing faster now than you did when you were here the first time?
Trying to, yes. And we are generally. I don't know what the last couple years the stats were, because you could get the stat, but if we got a lead, 2-score lead in the fourth quarter, we're milking it. We're taking it down all the way down to 2-1 every time. And so our stat per se might not reflect playing that fast, but our goal is to be the fastest playing team in the country as far as balls getting snapped and getting off. And so in that regard, everything that we talk about putting in plays or whatever, if we can't do it at a fast tempo, we usually don't put it in.